Here we are leaving the water stop at Winners, rolling out onto Putah Creek Road for the second sprint of the day. I was testing out my tubeless tires for the first time, and I think this is the first time I got the pressures right. There's Dave doing his famous wave, and again. Anyhow, it's the first ride I really felt like the pressures were dialed in. I've had a few rides before this, but I think I was too chicken to lower the pressure down where it was recommended. Just, I don't know, not used to those kind of lower pressures. The tires had a better attenuation of the bumps. Descending Canelo, I felt that there was really comfortable grip. I would say it's an improvement, but I wasn't descending as hard as I possibly could because I'm still getting used to these tires and building a comfort zone. I haven't had to change one of these tires yet. I know they say that it's much less frequent when you have tubeless, and I know that's probably one of the big downsides and can be messy. Thus far, I'd have to say I'm going to go tubeless. Just the lower pressure and how much more comfortable it feels, how much better it rides over the bumps, and just seems to have a better rolling speed when you're on the flats and even over bumps. It just feels like it's a better tire all the way around for me. So at this point, I'm gonna give it a go. I may change that after I change a few flats. My coach's instructions for today, as you see up here on the left, was lots of working at the front. And so I wanted to make sure I did that. Sometimes he'll give me instructions to sit in and focus on a sprint. Sometimes he wants me to attack off the front. And I think this all is part of the coaching plan and getting different parts of my training and fitness for different structural components of where we are in that process. I had done the Giro of San Francisco 5 days previously, and I'll link a description down below in that video. And I've got an optional race coming up for the Oakland Grand Prix, and then I want to do my last race of the year for Henleyville. So whatever he's got in mind here, he wants to make sure I'm doing work, and so I follow that. And sometimes people may wonder why I am either working real hard one day or don't do the race ride for a while or whatever, and I'm usually following some pretty specific instructions, because even during a lot of the race rides there is some level of instruction for me. My fitness was pretty good. I did get second in the Giro. I do think I could have had an opportunity to win that, but I'll save that for the video. And so I was looking forward to seeing how well I could take the rotations depending on how fast we're going and how much power I'd have left at the end. Especially when Dave is here, it's always hard to even stick with him, let alone try to beat him, but Lord knows I'm going to try. coming up around me here is a gentleman named Alex I mentioned in the previous video, the first sprint for this race, where I giving him just a little tip about saving some power so that you can come off the front. That was a different type of rotation. Here we're just doing a constant rotation, and this is something that he would have learned on Kevin's Skills Ride, which is again out here in Davis, 6 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think like May through September. And that's really important to understand what's happening in a big group like this, so you can be safe and read those different movements, the different types of rotations and formations and why. And I'm a big proponent of making sure that you point out hazards. Especially if someone points out in front of you in a big group, you should point it out again. Alex does a good job here of pointing out what ultimately is just a sticker in the road, but he pointed out to the right, and I appreciate that. I try to do that myself. You know, as you can see here, I can't see very far. My camera can't see very far ahead of all the little details, and while I'm moving my head around trying to see, someone's arm coming up is going to get my attention. And I appreciate it. Out here in Yolo County, some of these farmers water their crops or trees at all different times of the day. And when we've got a big group like this, I always appreciate it when someone tries to avoid all this water, because I do try to keep my bicycle clean, and this water mixed with the dust out here doesn't do you any favors. So I'm very appreciative of Dave pulling us over here to the left, and to show his thanks, as soon as we're done here, I try to come around him as quickly as possible. I mean, Dave's plenty strong. He can do this all day if he wants, but out of respect, I want to come through and take that pull. So it's not easy. You can't always avoid the water when you're in a big group like that, but I certainly appreciate it because, well, my bike is white and it shows everything. So you're going to see Jim on the right here in the orange and Neil in the blue and pink. Neil comes a little bit too close for Jim's comfort and just gives him a little tap on the hip there with his hand. If you haven't been in a group ride before or drafting with people in a crosswind or just close riding in general, that's just a little reminder that someone's there and telling you to hold your line because they're not comfortable with how close you're getting. And I remember the first time it happened to me, it was very strange. Though I'd seen people do it on TV, I kind of knew what happened, but just feeling it for the first time, I wasn't used to it. So just know if you do a big group ride like this, people are communicating with you. Sometimes it's easier to put up a hand than to yell. Sometimes when people yell, you really can't tell what they're yelling about with crosswinds or speed. Anyhow, focusing on the sprint here, which I think where these trees are to the right coming up is about 1 mile to the sprint. So the position you're in, the people that are around you is important. Got Dan up here in the orange helmet, just one extra bike length in front of me, and I'm paying attention to who's around me, and as we get closer and closer, I want to be around other fast guys. I'm noting that Chris Bolus is going up the front. He usually is going to pick the speed up because he's a very strong rider. Now Dave's coming up on my right up here in the green bike, but he's actually farther ahead than I want. If Dave launches right now, which is a bit early, I'm not going to be able to keep up. So I decided to go around left because I don't like the wad. I want to be in front of that wad. And if Dave does go, I need to be right on his wheel to hold his wheel because he can make a big gap real fast and hold that power. So I want to avoid that as all possible. As we can see, we are picking up the speed a bit. Kind of organizing to be in a single file line, which I prefer as opposed to a wad, and I prefer enough speed so that people can't come around. I feel like that's safer and, well, it's just easier for me if I don't have to fight a bunch of people as well. But the safety I'll take is the number one priority. As we're getting down here, if you can see on the right-hand side coming up, there's a pole. I think that's about 300 meters. It's the last pole on the right. And I know that at any point here, people are going to start surging and attacking. And of course, Dave goes, and I'm putting all I can in to stick with him. And now we've got some separation from the group. And he had a little gap on me, and I'm trying to make it up, but it's a bit too late. And once again, Dave proves it. He's a very strong rider, but he's also very fun to compete against. Serious.